Hello, everybody. Hello, this is Evelyn of Evelyn's Creations. Sunday evening. Normally, we're not here on Sundays, but today I wanted to pop in and to just let everybody see how you're doing, see what's going on, see if you're making your goal, if you're getting your goal. But tonight, the title is "Prepare to Get Lucky and How to Attract Abundance." Prepare to get lucky and how to attract abundance is the title for tonight. If this is your first time with me, my name is Evelyn of Evelyn's Creations, um, and my goal is to inspire you to manifest your gift and to be abundantly blessed financially, spiritually, and emotionally, because it's not always about money. But I want to come on tonight. This is the last day of this month, which is May. We got some decisions to make this month, and well, we got some decisions to make going forward. So I wanted to pop in and see how you're doing. I'm sitting on the couch. I am tired. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's been very busy. I had a wedding, two weddings, in fact, this week, plus my regular business that I do with my clients to come in the store, and also my mail order. So I am like wiped out. In fact, we didn't finish a dress until one. When I say we, it's me and the Lord, okay? We didn't finish the dress till 1 o'clock this morning because the bride did not get here till 9 o'clock and she wanted some changes done. So, you don't want her wedding day to be off. She's getting married right now. She's getting married in 15 minutes on the beach. And I just, oof, it was a lot. It was a lot. Very inexperienced, learn as you go. And I'm not talking about my clients. We both talk about this. It's just a lot to it. When you think someone just popped up and had a wedding, there's always things that happen of why you plan a wedding. Because things still happen when you plan a wedding. But we got through it, and she's got everything she needs, and she's on the way. But it was a crazy, crazy week doing weddings and fittings and alterations because I'm the type of person where if I take on a job, I'm gonna finish the job, and if I put my name on it, I'm gonna give it my best. So it was very very exhausting doing this last wedding, and it was exhausting because it was not well planned, and appointments were late, and just anything you can imagine that can go wrong went wrong. Not on my end, but just her planning her wedding was very difficult. She didn't know how expensive it was, and it just caused things to be delayed because of that. So if you do a wedding, I'm gonna just say suggest. There's no way you can avoid some things with a wedding. Even with my experience, once you do it, you just got to finish it. But you can decide if you want to do it or not. Now, the reason that I feel blessed when somebody want my hands on their items to get married. So, it's a gift, but it also has to be organized. And there was no way that this could have been even thought about because they came in, they said they wanted this, and then they changed it. I charged them, they paid every time, but it was just a lot. It was a lot. So I got through it. So those who do weddings, you know what I'm talking about. I'm a jack of a lot of trades, not all trades, but I do pick up weddings sometimes, and I do them. And this is what we call a shotgun wedding, meaning that I got to get married in less than a month, and everything got to be done. So that's what we call a shotgun wedding. So that's what we just did. But before I get going, I'm going to start again. I'm going to make sure you know the title. The title is Prepare to Get Lucky and How to Attract Abundance. And I'm gonna go through that, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you, and I know you'll be able to get it because those who are with me, I know you'll be able to get it. But before I do that, I want to do the roll call. I'm gonna change it this week because those who are coming on, they gotta go quickly. I want to make sure you hear your name. It's very important for you to hear your name. It's very important to know that you are being recognized for supporting the channel. And to see how many people are watching me and hearing your name right now, every time I come on live and I go back and look at my stats, there's over 30,000 people that are hearing your name. 30,000 people who see and hear and feel the importance of this channel. So I'm not going to wait till later to say your name. I'm going to start saying your name at the beginning, because those 30,000 viewers that are looking and hearing for information, some people they can't say anything because they may be watching at work, or they may be watching in a culture that don't allow you to express or can track you what you're viewing and what you're doing. So those people can't actively click on. But I think it's important that for those 30,000 people that are watching this channel, those 30,000 views, that you should hear your name called. And so when I call your name, raise your right hand and pat yourself on the back, okay? Because you're making this channel possible. Okay, here we go. Pink Pizzazz Boutique, Helen of Hearts, Mildred Desserts, Sweet Pearl Creations, Dewana Green, Patricia, Mariam Masterpiece Designs, Blessings, Mary Jones, Gwendolyn Member Starbs, Daughters of Zion Creations, Sharon Courts, Constance Clinton, Awanda Brown, Tracy Davis, Jean Robinson, Life's Living by Lorraine, Ellen Banks, Alice Sandra Barnhart, Michelle Stringer, Yana Hodgepodge, Bernice Thompson, Carolyn Royal, Nina Rose Treasures, Shamira Customs, Learline Rockingham, Lumen Laser, Angela Hamilton, Miss T from the SIP, and Linda Brown. So when you hear your name, those are active members. I know we have a lot of members that are maybe inactive, but those are active members that I want you to raise your right hand and pat yourself on the back, because I appreciate you tremendously. Excuse me. Now, before I move on to the topic, I got to thank you for the anniversary blessings. It was my wedding anniversary. And I'm going to tell you about wedding anniversaries. The reason I'm going to tell you this story is because I'm going to talk about AI tonight. And I want those watching me to know I'm a real person with real families, with real issues, and real business and a real relationship. Okay. So I think it's important that you to know me a little bit, because when you know me, you can connect. Okay. So it was my wedding anniversary, and I was like, okay, it's my wedding anniversary. And my husband said, I want to pick you up from work. I'm like, no, don't do that. I'm going to come on, get a shower, go somewhere. The reason is because I work a lot. I'm really dedicated to my clients. So he didn't want to like interrupt me. I'll pick you up when you get off and we'll go. I'm like, what about my car? Well, we'll come back and get it. I'm like, no, let's not do that. But anyway, it's important. It's important when you get someone to understand your passion, and for someone to know how much it means to you to be successful and to be just a blessing to the community, and now my YouTube community. So I was like, okay, wow, he's really considering me, so he want to pick me up from work. I'm like, okay, but let's go home. But anyway, so we get ready to go to dinner. When I showed you that post, now I didn't take my dogs to dinner, but when I got home, opened the door, the dogs jumped in the car. But this is what happened. We went to dinner. I like seafood. He don't like. He can't eat seafood. He's allergic to seafood, and I am. I like seafood. Okay, but I don't have to have it, but I like it. So he took me to this restaurant, and it was a little country restaurant. It wasn't like a really nice, elegant restaurant. It was a little country restaurant, really cozy. And I have to tell you something. Whenever we go out, I be hoping that somebody don't recognize me. And I'm gonna tell you why. And that's because a lot of people know me. And when I'm out with him, I just want him to just let us focus on ourselves, right? So we get this window seat, and holy camole, I look out the window and there's one of my clients. And he's looking at me like, what? He's one of my clients. So I'm like this, looking down, like, okay, hopefully they don't see me. And he looks at me and he said, they see you. They coming right to the table. I said, really? He said, yeah, they coming right to the table. So they come to the table and they say, hello, how are you doing? And I'm like, thank you. They said, we came by the store 2 days ago. You wasn't in. We didn't see you. Blah blah blah. So anyway, it was short term. So they saw that we was having dinner, getting ready to have dinner. So they went and sat down. So long story short, my husband actually went over and told the guy what's a good thing to order, because this is a place that him and his golfers like to go all the time, right? Like I said, it wasn't like this nice, where they come and they scrape the crumbs off the table. It wasn't that kind of dinner. It was like, hey, let's go have dinner. So anyway, so what was funny about this dinner is that he has to take Benadryl because he really can't deal with the steam and the smoke from seafood. He likes catfish and I like shrimp or whatever on that side. So when they come to the dinner, come, they get the menu, and of course they give you the bib, the pliers, the scissors, the thing to dig into for the meat, and some grip pliers. And I'm like, well, what is this? What? You know, when you go to a nice dinner, they done open all that stuff up, and you just get to eat it. Well, they come in with this huge red lobster, and you got to dig in like country, and get into the food and eat everything. And I told the waitress, I said, I don't know how to do this. So she said, well, here it is. I'm going to show you how to do it with the pliers, and it's cracked and all that. I just thought it was so funny because Miss Bougie, the country bougie, right? I'm really used to the lobster just coming out and you eating the lobster tail. I'm not used to having to crack the feet and all this and looking like you going to war to eat a meal. I wasn't used to that, but it was fun and it was funny. And the flowers that you saw that I put up, they were so nice because it was a cabbage in there. And I was just so happy that he had went the extra mile to make me feel good. Because for those who do have marriages and do have relationships, there was a time that he would forget. And I would be like, how can this man forget? How could he forget? And I asked a friend, I was working a convention, and I asked a friend, and I says, I can't believe my husband forgot the anniversary. And the friend, he was a friend slash client. He was actually buying something at my table. And he said, it takes us 20 years. I said, no way. He said, it takes us 20 years. It takes us a long time to get it. And as a woman, we be saying, how could you forget that? And he said, we just do. We'll be into what we're doing, and we just do. Now, I'm going to give him an excuse because my husband is a retired homicide detective. I know I shouldn't be telling you my business, but I am, because there are some of you who may have experienced someone who gotten killed, and the detectives help you to find out who killed your loved one. And his caseload was so heavy that he was always solving a case and trying to solve a case, and he get into the case, and it was just just some of the things that he would have to discuss with someone, and sometimes it'd be me, like, does that baby look dead or does that baby look alive? And and just to, like, I don't know, the baby looks asleep, you know what I mean? But those are the kind of things he dealt with. And I was selfish before. I was selfish about, why can't he put me first, meaning my birthday or that, and then now I understand. And it took me a while to be able to do that. And so I want you to understand, sometimes you may say, why am I not making money right now? What's going on? I got all these gifts. What's going on? And you have to understand that it takes time. It takes time to get there. So there were also times when we would go to dinner, popular places, that he would think of suspects is sitting behind us. Like, don't move. This guy looked like da 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 da. and it could be no matter where you go. And then so now what he does is he finally places that's intimate and quiet and in the bush somewhere, but it's nice and neat. And he's retired now. And there are times too, even today, people come to my business and say, tell your husband thank you for what he did for our family. Tell your husband thank you for making sure that this officer did not do something bad to me. So I had to grow, and he had to grow, and now we remember our anniversary. Because you can get busy too. If oh my God, it's his birthday. Oh my God, you write it down and you get busy. So I just want to thank you all for that, and I'm saying that to you because I'm not AI. I'm a real designer with real issues, with a real business, with indoor traffic. And if you looked at me this morning, I mean this week, what I did this week, anybody that came in that was I thought was funny, I sent that to you so you can see this is crazy. It's your it goes up and down, up and down. Business in a mall, even in a slow mall, a quiet mall, you can have characters all day long, and you just have to laugh at them. So tonight I'm on adrenaline because I'm tired from all this crazy week. With it was crazy because of the two weddings, and it was crazy because I had to carve out time to stop and say, I need to go and celebrate my anniversary. So I'm patting myself, two hands on the back, that we got through another successful year. And I don't take our time together lightly. I just appreciate that someone can put up with me and what I do. You know what I mean? Because it's not easy when you have a person that's active and really want to make their business work. You have to find that soulmate that says, I'm gonna stick with her because she's doing something. I'm gonna stick with her. So that's where we are now. When I say, listen to this, now everybody look like you're on. Thank you all for talking to each other while I go on, while I'm talking and telling everybody where you're from and what you're doing. Um, I'm going to uh, go over my topic, and then I'm gonna tell you some things that's going on with those who've gotten coaching. Those who've gotten coaching, you're right where you need to be. Okay, but we're gonna come back. Put that on the sidebar. We're gonna go here to prepare to get lucky. Now, what does that mean? Prepare to get lucky. What is luck? How can when somebody say, she just lucky. She always wins. She just lucky. You can, and you can just get lucky. But if you prepare yourself, you will get lucky. I'm gonna explain that to you. When you are doing your business, or you are just going through your day, and you do the small stuff, you know, I mean, I gotta make it clear so you understand. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with sports first, and I'm gonna come back to your business. Now, if you know, we like to go talk about sports. New York is in the finals for the NBA, National Basketball League. Okay. They're practicing. They're practicing. They're practicing. They haven't had a series in a long time, and they think it's since 1999. So it's gonna be on for New York. New York is the biggest party city, and it's on and rocking for these. So we're gonna be talking about these playoffs. So I want y'all to be thinking about the NBA. In 1999, it's been a long time since they got there, but they didn't just get there. They got lucky. They got lucky. They was working and working and working, and then luck struck. And then sometimes when you see a player they go to practice all the time, and then next thing you know, I remember Michael Jordan. I remember Michael Jordan throwing up a shot, getting hit, leaning over, taking the shot on his way down. Everybody knew he was real, real sick, right? And he made the shot. Now, when you practice, you don't practice with somebody hitting you. You don't practice with somebody shooting anything. You practice to win, but you don't practice. So can I turn this off? Um, You practice to win, but you don't practice sick and in difficult situations. So you get lucky. So when you're working, like say like you're making aprons, you're making bonnets, you're making um scarves, whatever you could be making, and someone comes up to you and they'll say, well, can you make me this hat? And then you say yes, and they'll say, well, I'll take 25 of those. Well, you have the material, you know how to make the hat, and that person just lucked up on you, and you happen to be able to make that sale, and you're saying, wow, where did that come from? It came with you being prepared to be lucky, because that person didn't know you was there, they didn't know your skill, and you can solve their problem. And when you can solve their problem, you be like, wow, is it that easy? Is it really that easy? And I'm gonna give you another example. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I went to this workshop, and I was just amazed. I found time to go to a workshop, y'all. It was a short one. It was just a 30-minute one. But anyway, the guy was telling us about how lucky we are. Like he said, and don't be offended those who are watching me from other countries. He said, do you realize to be born in America is luck? And I was like, really? He said, you may be going through some inconveniences right now. And he's a white gentleman. And he said, to be born in America is luck. And he said, okay, let me tell you why it was luck. First of all, you had no control of the conception. You had no control of where you're gonna be born. But to be born in America, you're automatically born with rights. You automatically can become an entrepreneur. You automatically can go to a public school for free. You automatically don't have to buy uniforms to go to that public school. And then you can start a business, and you can own a business. Or you can work for somebody else and own and start on your business. Like, can you imagine if you had to go work in another country and there was no time to start your own business? In America, not only America. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not just saying, oh, America is the only one to do this, but this is what he told me, because he's traveled, or he told us, the class, he's traveled and he's seen several countries. And he came back and said, this is how it is in America. And I'm telling you all, being born in America, you're all being already is lucky. And a lot of people, even if they're out of another country, they want to come to America to get an education to be lucky, or they can be lucky. In other words, your destination is not pre-planned. Who you marry is not pre-planned. Working the farm is not pre-planned. It may be for a while, but it's not the rest of your life that you have to do this. So he kept breaking it down, and I thought it was very interesting, because I said, what if I can take that back to the boot camp group? What if I could go back and tell them that they're already lucky? I mean, and you were saying, I'm not lucky. I got to work 40 hours. I'm not lucky. I can barely make it. No, I want you to stretch beyond your shortcomings. Stretch beyond your shortcomings, that you have electricity, that you have a bed, that you have a car, or that you have access to a bus, or you have access to a bicycle, or you have your feet that you can walk, or you have a neighbor that can help you. And all of these are things that we take for granted. That's luck, that you happen to be by somebody that can help you, or you can learn from. Okay, now when you look at it like that, you can't be lazy anymore. You know where I'm coming from, right? I know somebody know where I'm coming from. When you look at the fact that you are so lucky, how could it be that you can't attract abundance and wealth? When you can pick up literally a small piece of anything and sell it to anybody and set your price to it. You see what I'm saying? When you can pick up, like, Like the bride last night, she said, I don't have a garter belt. I picked up a piece of elastic, put some fabric around it, put a ribbon on it, and a cute little cowrie shell button on it, and told her to try it on, and she had it. You know what I'm saying? I was prepared to be lucky for her to make it. She was here trying to figure out what else she need, and I was able to get it for her because I was already prepared. I already had everything to do it. It's just like, do I want to spend 5 more minutes to make it? I would do that for someone. That's their day. I wouldn't say come back tomorrow, right? So when we're in our weakest point on how we're gonna make this, think about how lucky you are. And this was a billionaire talking. This wasn't a hypothetical coach or hypothetical teacher. This was a billionaire. And he said, and being lucky, what you have to have first to happen is you have to fail at some things. And when you fail at some things, you know how you would say we learn from the mistakes? You actually have to get happy that you failed. I know that sounds awkward. Okay, say somebody took all your merchandise, a fire, a storm, a person in your life took all your merchandise. All that makes you stronger. It makes you stronger to get lucky. And he said the things that he was trying to do, and he failed and lost millions and millions and millions of dollars, but he kept working to replace those millions. And when he replaced those millions, he got lucky at the right time, at the right place, when people knew it. He even said the right time of the year. And he said when he wanted to do things, he always waited to election years, because he said election years is when people listen. Election years is when people watching the news and they want to see what's going on. They reacting and they're looking for hope and they're looking for things. So when he invented certain things, he did it during election years because people want to either get engaged into the drama or they want to disengage to the drama. So he learned whenever time he was launching something, it was always quiet. You know how you think, well, how can somebody hear when there's all this noise? Then we go back to Miss Bernice. Miss Bernice in Atlanta said, I don't listen to all that. But she might listen to something else. She might listen to a YouTube. She might listen to something that helps her grow, that might make it more spiritual to her. And when she does that, she go, I'm so busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So what I want you to know, the first part of this topic is make sure you are prepared to be lucky. Make sure the things that you have to sell, you have in abundance. Make sure that when someone calls on you and they already know what you have, that you have access to get it, or you already have it to do. Now, I'm gonna tell you how I got lucky, even with everything else going on this week. This week was usually in May, it's not really that busy unless you're doing graduations. But graduation was only one thing. You saw the video where I had to go deliver the stuff, the graduation scarves out the back door. And the person I gave the scarves to was my client. Well, she was a previous client. I made her wedding dress 30 years ago. And she was like, wow, you still at this. I'm just a driver to pick it up. You made my wedding dress 30 years ago. I was lucky to see her again. And I was lucky that she works for a company that's looking for a designer to make their graduation scarves. So I was prepared because they use all my resources, my fabric, my embroidery skills, the fact that I was local, the fact that I could work on a short notice. I was lucky to get that sale. Excuse me. And then another way I was lucky this week, another church called me. I didn't know it was a church. They just called me and said, can you make a scarf? I'm like, yeah, I can make a scarf. Well, can I come by? Sure. Give her the address. She comes by. She says, I need 75 scarves. Do you have the material? I said, sure. Okay, I'm going to go back to the church and see, can I get approval for this? And we're going to give you that sale. And we need them before Father's Day. We want all 75 of our male ushers, our churchgoers, our deacons, our men. We want them all to have a ethnic scarf for Father's Day. That was luck. That was luck. She called my number. That was luck. She was able to come by, and that was luck that I have enough fabric to make any scarf she want for 70 in a unit of 75. So what I want you to know, like Pink, if you're watching and you got those bonnets or those scarves or however you do whatever you do. I know you do other things, but that was one of your categories. And you have someone that's maybe they doing a movie or something. You're out there where they do movies in Vegas, and you might be able to have the material. I know you can get the raw material to do those things. Be Start opening your mindset to be prepared to be lucky. Now, the second part of that is saying create abundance. How do you create abundance? Well, you can't create abundance if your mindset is thinking one, 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 one. To create abundance, you got to have like your fingers spread out like this, because you may, you know, when you create abundance, it's like cooking. If you're cooking a full course meal, you probably have all four of your eyes going and your oven going. And I know some of you saying, girl, how, or lady, or how do you do so many different things? Well, to create abundance, and those who have come by the store have seen these 5 stores. They're not free. They all have light bills. They have all insurance. They have employees. They have to be cleaned nightly. They are well stocked, but that inventory has to rotate. Everything has to rotate, right? So when you have a store, you have multiple stores, or you have multiple jobs that you're doing, or jobs that you can do. Let's correct that. Jobs that you can do. You organize it so that you got cash flow coming from all the areas that you can do. If it's embroidery, if it's in alterations, if it's in a fashion show, if it's over here, you got to make sure that you create abundance. And it's not just, I just make pocket squares, or I just make handkerchiefs. You got to be able to feel yourself as a person that can create and attract abundance, because you can't attract abundance if you don't have abundance. So all those things that you're making, start making 2 or 3, or have the fabric to make 2 or 3, or if you're making quilts, if you're making underwear, if you're making bras, if you're making hats, make sure that you have the abundance to attract it. Because when someone comes in your circle or they see your display, then they're going to be wanting more, because nobody really likes to buy one. Think about your tire on your car. You might say, well, I only got one bad tire. Then you're going to be thinking, nah, I better get all 4 of these tires. That one that looks all right, it should be my spare. And when you set your tires and you get your tires going, you got your car going, you feel better. Now you can attract abundance. If you got that one good tire that you just replaced, and you know the other 3 might be what they call May pops. This may pop tomorrow, may pop now, may not get me home. When you got 3 May pops on your car, you may say, oh no, I hope I make it. But as soon as you can make those funds to get those tires on, you're going to feel better that all your tires are going the same direction. And we can create abundance to pay for tires, to pay for personal bills, business investments, and the whole 9 yards. We could do that. Okay. So I want to make sure you understand about how to be lucky and how to create abundance. And before I start answering questions, I want to answer these questions that came across since our last talk on last Thursday night. And someone was asking about the sewing machine that I bought. They asked, what kind of sewing machine did you use to buy the house that you bought in Atlanta, or the houses that I bought houses that you bought. Anyway, I bought houses, but there is not one sewing machine that I used to buy a house. What I said was I bought my house using a Walmart sewing machine. Okay. Now, I use Brothers, I use Singers. Walmart sell Brother machines and Singer machines. When I bought my house, or when I everything that I own, including this computer that I'm on, is from sales from a Walmart sewing machine. I do have other machines that I play around with, high speed, uh, the industrial machines, but I'm an artist, and the sound bothers my ears. When I sew, I like to sew. When I stop, the sewing machine stop. I don't like to sew where the sewing machine still sounds like an engine. Maybe because when I saw my family, some of my family that worked in sewing factories, it just made it. They just came home so nervous, and they was in the factory all day, and they made pants. They made like cargo pants. Some of them made khaki shirts, and they what they did was they just put sleeves in all day, or they put pockets in all day, or they did the same thing over and over and over. And once they took all the industrial work to China, they had to find work because there were no more factories in America. So when I looked at that, I was like, oh, I would never want to do that. I would go home for the summer. I'm like, oh man, that's how y'all do it over here. Oh, that just didn't sound attractive. But when I grew up and my father was absent and I needed clothes, I learned how to sew. So the cheapest and the quickest way for me to sew was to go to this place called Walmart and pick up a sewing machine. And so everything that I make, every single thing, from the earrings I'm wearing to the eyeglasses I'm wearing to the head wrap that I'm wearing to the little wrap top that I'm wearing, every single thing in my life, my watch, my shoes, my underwear, everything, y'all, everything that I have is from me sewing on a Walmart sewing machine, no matter what it is. I have the machines that my family gave me that can go faster, but I give them my rhythm, I get in my sweet spot, and I did wedding dresses. Everything y'all saw this week, I make that. I get it done. I get it in, I get it out, I get paid. Okay. So when you're looking for, I want to know her secret, what kind of machine she used. When I told you the machine I use, that's the machine I use now. Now, when I bought that house 20 years ago, that machine that I'm using now wasn't even in existence. Those, how they make new models every year. That machine wasn't in existence. So when I told you I was sewing with the Sanger 6, I think it's 660, the high speed, heavy duty Singer machine, that's the machine that I use now. And I think I have about 10 of them. And what I do is I have them in every vehicle. I have them in different stores. And I got one always on my down here to pick up, because the reason that I have them is because when one needs to be cleaned, I usually have so much work I can't stop, and then I have my husband to clean them, or I will just take them to a shop locally and say, here, can you just service these 4 machines? Those machines never break down. They just need to be serviced and cleaned. So I don't want you to feel like I have found this one sewing machine, and that sewing machine I sold and bought that house with just that one sewing machine. I bought the house. I pay the bills. I pay my employees. I, in other words, even if I didn't make it, if you come in my store and you see something I didn't make it, I made it happen. When I say I made it happen, that means I bought the deodorant at wholesale and sold it for a profit. But the money that I bought to buy the deodorant, it came from me sewing from that Walmart sewing machine. And the reason that I want you to know that I'm not opposed to any other sewing machines. If you have your favorite sewing machine, you can do the same thing. It does not have to be a Walmart sewing machine. Now, the reason that I use a Walmart sewing machine, first of all, is very economical. And second of all, my favorite fabric that's used is African fabrics. And African fabrics have texture. And some of the favorite fabric is a mud cloth fabric, which is the fabric that's right behind me here. Those fabrics have seeds in it, and they have actually grit in it because they actually are made from the mud. It's the most sacred fabric you can ever use, ever buy, ever need, and it's not replicated in that form because it's very difficult and it takes years to make it. So you can do what I do and what I have done and did with any machine. I mean, you can do it with a kid machine. If you stay consistent and you stay sewing and you can get, because what's going to happen is when you start sewing, you're going to attract all kind of people who need your help. There are going to be all kind of people who need your help because you sew. And when you start sewing, you'll realize that when you sew, that machines, the needle's going to break. Sometimes the needle can break and get in the cams, and you got to stop and take everything apart and you got to put it exactly right, or the tension to be off, or the timing to be off. And you may have a customer waiting for you at the door with a nice crisp $100 bill, and you don't have time to take the money because you're trying to fix the machine. So you have to keep it moving. So you got to have a backup. Anyone, listen to me. Anyone that's sewing, do not only think you can make it with one sewing machine. You have to have a backup sewing machine on any project. If you just have one sewing machine and you like sewing 2 or 3 in the morning and that machine go down, that you're gonna be so hurt because it's hard to find a repairman. And if they do, they might take a week or two, and your deadline might be tomorrow. And if you work like I do, where I sew my hats with my sewing machine, I mean, I sew leather with my sewing machine. I sew all kind of stuff on these heavy duty single sewing machines. And sometimes they just need to be, they need a break, like an airplane. They need to come down, get refueled, get oil, grease, take all the dust out, get your duster, blow it all out, take all the screws out, look at everything. And when you put it back together, it's ready to rock and roll. And I sew a lot. I mean, I sew almost all day. I have staff so I can sew. I don't even like to say I love sewing. Believe it or not, I never say I love sewing. But let a day go by that I don't sew. I'll be going through jiggies. If it's a day I go by and I'm not sewing, I'll be like, oh, what happened? But what I love is I love the fact that I'm helping someone. I love the fact when somebody I mean, when she put on that dress last night and all those layers of ruffles all the way down, and I know, it was crazy because all these ruffles gonna get wet because she's getting married on the beach, barefooted, and the dress is made like it should be in a chapel. But when I saw that and I saw my hands do that, I was amazed. I was like, wow, wow. But I paid for it this morning. I got out at 1 o'clock this morning, y'all. And I got home like 1:15, 1:20. And then I had to get up and do my praise. And then I say, man, I pray God, let's just make sure she have a beautiful wedding. But back to me and sewing. When you look at my videos, every one of them is 100% honest. Every one of them, I don't have no pleasure of telling you what I don't do and what I do to make what I do successful. If you start sewing, you're going to get faster. Now, Miss Ellen, the sister, the lady that made those bad pieces, Miss Ellen is a couture sewer. She sews every stitch, everything looks so beautiful. I mean, Miss Ellen makes some awesome bags, you all. When you start your sewing, it's going to take time to get there. I'm not there yet. It's going to take some time to get like Miss Ellen, because Miss Ellen, she doing it. She is doing it. And what I want you to know is you don't have to be perfect to make money when you sew. You just keep doing. As you do it and you do it more and more and more, you're going to get better and you're going to get faster. And your techniques will get better. So when you're sewing and somebody like Miss Ellen show up, you know how they said, I'm not going to show you what mine look like. Know what I tell you to say? Say it's handmade. Handmade means it's not perfect. All right? You keep working at it. And when you can sew like Miss Ellen, you definitely can get more money. Because those people who like go through your stuff and they take it inside out and they don't even want to, they can't even see where you started to stitch. Those are the ones that they want couture sewing, then you give them couture prices. But as you grow, you build your prices more and more and more. Now, the number to text me if you want to be in a boot camp in the boot camp in October, the number is 407 590 8767. That's 407 590 8767. I told you that we would be deciding on that at the end of the month of May for October, which will be the third week in October. It's time to make a decision so that you can make plans if you plan to come. I want you to text me that you will be able to come. I know everybody can't watch this video at the same time, so I'm going to give it 3 weeks to receive all the texts that say, I am interested in coming. And when you say you're interested in coming, I want you to be prepared to say if you're interested in coming, it will be approximately maybe $300 to register and to come, showcase your items, be in workshops. We'll have, masterminds talking about different ways we want to go. We will be looking at different parts of the countries where you're from so that the goal is to those who are looking for customers to get you customers, but also if we have outlets in those places that we can get wholesale deals on fabrics and so forth. So prepare. If you say you want to come, you're also agreeing that you are willing to pay the $300 for registration. Okay, so that lets you know that's what that will cost, and that's not a lot, but it is a lot. Okay, it's a lot sometimes because you may just not have it because you have your travel expenses to go with that. I'm actually in Ocoee, Florida, which is 5 miles from Orlando, Florida, and it's the first mall inside when you come into Orlando on the turnpike. So that is something we have to decide within the next 3 weeks. If you're gonna come again, or if you want to sign up, the number will be 407 590 8767. And then if I get 20 people to potentially say they want to come, then I will start getting everything ready, and then I'll give you a deadline of when you'll have to have the money. Now, the money for that would probably not be until you probably won't need to pay that until August. So it won't be like you got to come up with the $300 before, like when you say you want to come. So that will be probably required to pay by August, so we can reserve everything and have security and all that stuff. Now, with that being said, that would be like if you want to ship your items to the store, um, if you want to bring your own sewing machine, if you want to display, a whole lot of stuff we can do because we got so many people with so many talents. And if you say, this is if you want to come and exhibit. If you just want to attend, it will be considerably less. I'm hoping that you would like to come and display your items and that we can support each other and purchase from you as well. Okay, so we'll make arrangements if you want to ship things, because flying items could be very expensive unless it's lightweight items you can put in luggage. So that's the time if you want the boot camp. So if people been asking, you keep asking. Today is the last of the end of the month. Also, it's the end of the month. If you wanted to get coaching and you want to make payment arrangements, today is the last day before those fees, or I wouldn't say it's a fee. It's called a business investment. Before that is due, you will have to text me, make arrangements for your first payment, and that is if you want to get coaching to build your business and get you ready. Now, for those who are already getting coaching, some of you are saying, I'm having a hard time because orders are coming in and I can't fill my orders on time. That's a good problem. That's a good problem. How do I deal with the amount of orders coming in because I'm getting coached and I can't fill the orders? And a couple of you have said because life happened. And I'm gonna tell you, life will happen all the time. Family member may pass, family member you're taking care of. Sometimes you may be not feeling well and you cannot get your orders out. Okay. Now, what you do when you can't get your orders out, first of all, you kind of tell your customers, hey, I'm slightly behind. I will get that. You text your customers that. Okay. Other ways you do is you change your time on when you're gonna be delivering. Like say you when you first you might have said I can get this done in 1 to 3 days, or I can get this done within 2 to 7 days. Okay. If you have to say you have to get this done in 2 weeks, then do 2 weeks. When you put down the longer it takes for you to get things out, your sales slow down. Excuse me. When you say you can do stuff in 1 to 3 days, your sales go up because everybody want it fast, right? So don't close your store. Never close your store. Extend your timelines. Okay, so that's a good thing. It's just things happen, and you'll get back on track, and you'll recover. So just do the best you can. Try to get 1 or 2 orders out at a time, and 1 or 2 orders a day, and then you'll get your orders back up. So that's the main thing: is communicate with your clients that you have, that you do that. The last thing I'm going to say before I start taking your calls, I know it's Sunday. I know you don't want to be on here all night. I'm going to talk about AI. Some of you have showed me that you're using AI in your pictures. You're using AI in different ways. They're getting ready to really shut down on AI when it comes to sales. The companies are getting sued because they're buying stuff with pictures with AI, and they don't look like what they say they look like. So they're using AI for their animation. I mean, I know you're experimenting with AI, but just keep it real, like me. I mean, my hair everywhere. Okay, my eyes. I'm tired. I've been working hard. My fingers don't have no nails on it. My lipstick is not there. I'm real. I'm real. I'm raw. I'm real. That's just me. Okay, this me. It's Sunday. It's my day off, but I'm here. So what I want you to know is when you're doing your pictures, when you're doing your mock-ups, when you're doing your things, if you sell it to a customer, maybe you can do it without showing their face. Maybe you can, if you got a child at your house, they got nice looking hands, put their hand on it. Even now when you do a video, they'll say authentic voice, authentic video. Like when other countries see this, they're gonna say authentic. It's not a artificial voice. It's not an artificial picture. It's not an artificial background. You can tell the stuff that you got those really good videos where you don't see that light in the back and you don't see all this stuff in the back. I'm keeping it real. I'm at work. It's Sunday. I got a rack that I pull off. I got a rack just to block some stuff from being seen while I paint and I do different things. But I want you to know if you start using AI, you get addicted to it and it seems not authentic. So when people buy things, say you have something you sell and you have 1,000 units, and you have 1,000 units and it costs $10 per unit. And when you buy it, it doesn't look nothing like the picture. It doesn't look like the picture that you use from AI. And they can't, and then you saying you can't get your money back. You did it the way you said you're gonna do it. Well, when you go to court, the AI picture don't look like what they got, and therefore they sue you, or they sue the company that you're using on the platform. So do yourself a favor. Whatever you have right now, and it's not a real picture of a real person, especially being a small business, try your best to use your own pictures and put your fingerprint on it, put your hand on it, put that on it, because AI is getting exposed. Even the Pope is talking that AI is out of control. The president of the United States and the Pope are not getting along that well because the Pope is speaking out. The Pope is talking about AI. So we gotta be dealing with that. I mean, like these artificial cars. Remember I told you last week how I had a car that's going down, driving by itself. Now they got semi trucks driving by themselves. So the Pope is saying, look, AI is killing humans. It's taking humans out of the situation. So we got to make sure we put everything back to human, like we are human. and people want to buy from people they can talk to, they can see. You know how you get a recording and it's AI. Press one for this, press one for that. And I'm gonna tell you what happened in here. We were trying to make sure our barcode system was working, aver- you know, tagging everything. And AI was speaking on speaker, and my nephew who's a tech guy, he came in. He's like, "This old stupid AI," and guess what AI said? I hear you. AI AI will tell you that. Excuse me. AI will tell you, "Hey, I'm trying to help you, and you talking about me. I hear you." So AI is getting more human than humans. So be careful with your pictures. Be careful with your illustrations, and even AI will tell you how to respond to questions. Like it'll come up and it'll say, say da 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 da. And I like to just type what I'm saying. And one person told me, even today, they said, "You aren't professional." What I said was, she asked me, was the hat on the way? And I said, yes. She said, I wasn't professional because I didn't tell her the day that she would get the hat. And I just answered her yes. Now the AI would say, "Oh, thank you for your purchase, and I'm appreciating all of this, and oh, I look forward to you buying more things from me." Blah 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 blah. Like AI write all this stuff out when you getting ready to respond, and I'll just keep it short. You know what I mean? Because it's Sunday. I'm not. Why would I try to type all this stuff? It has been mailed. Yes, it's on the way. Well, she said I was not professional by her response. And so I'll go back and clean it up and say, I'm sorry that I was short. I didn't mean it. However, it's Sunday and I just thought you just wanted to know it was on the way. I was just like, just tell me it's on the way. You know what I mean? But she wanted to know, why didn't I tell her the day that she would get it? No, Amazon will tell you the day you're going to get it. And when it tells you the day you're going to get it and it don't, it'll recalibrate. So Amazon is using AI, and then all of a sudden, the orders that's supposed to come today didn't come, and it recalibrate. But we're human, and we got to keep it human, and we got to make sure our customers know that we're human. So this is what we talked about tonight: how to get lucky, how to prepare for abundance and create abundance, how to do AI, how to list your items, and customer service skills. That's the last one, the customer service skills. So I want to just recap all of that and see where you are and make sure we're all on the right track. If you want to come to the boot camp, if you want to pay for the boot camp, all those things that you asked for, I want to make sure that you get all of that. And that would be so wonderful. If you want to get coaching, 407-590-8767. That's 407-590-8767. And I always say this as the last thing, but I had one more thing to say, and it was about your websites. Some of you have shown me your websites, and there's nothing wrong with making your own website. When you make your own website, that's great. Don't ever think it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. But when you get the coaching and you get on the right sites, that's when you start getting these orders and you can make tens of thousands of dollars, literally. It would not be a problem for you to make, just say, to make $10,000, you need to make um, $300 a day, roughly. To make $300 a day, that means $300 a day. That means you need to make 10 sales of $30. If you make more, your items are more than $30, then you can make more than $10,000. I know it's like a short 100, but you can make, or short 1,000. But what the reason I'm saying that is that your sales are not going to always be $30. Some going to be higher than $30. But if you have your own website and nobody knows your channel, you can't get those sales. So you say, well, I gonna do my own website and I'm gonna see how it works. Not that you won't make any money with your own website. It's like it's like say you just, they can't find you. Basically, they can't find you. If you put your own website out and you can put your own website out and it can cost you anywhere from $50 to $1,000. Get your website. If you get your coaching, you won't have to spend that kind of money, and you have access to millions of people. In other times, sometimes you have to make the sacrifice to get where you want to be. And when you make the sacrifice, you only make that sacrifice one time. And then if you want to grow bigger, you make it, you continue to sacrifice because you want to make more money. You want to stretch as far as you can get. In other words, you don't want to put limits on how much money you make. You want to make sure that you can make as much as you possibly can. And you do that. And the people that's getting coaching now, I'm even telling you, don't put that money that you're making in your pocket. Put that money on that bill. Because if you started your business, you started with your own money, most likely. Some of you might have been gifted the money. But when you put yourself on the right channel, like when I'm on the radio every Saturday morning, when I'm on the radio, they won't hear me if they're not on the right channel. And if they're on the right channel, they're gonna come in my store and shop with me right then because they're either in the car, they're home, listen to the radio, you know, they're on their phone, listen to the radio. But if you're not on the right channel, nobody can find you. And if people find you, it's not as many people that can find you. So don't limit yourself. If you got a skill and you want some new carpet, you want to travel, you want a new house, you want investment properties, if you get the coaching, you will get it. There's no way you won't get it. If you're sowing right now, if you listening to me and you're sowing right now, there is no way you cannot get what you want with your gift. You just got to have the right people finding you. And that's not going to happen if you make your own website. You don't know enough people. And in fact, if the people you know, they will already be there. You will need a website. You know what I'm saying? They'll already know you. You can just send them a picture of what you're making right now. But to make the abundance that we deserve, and in some cases that we desperately need, we have to make an ultimate sacrifice. It's a small sacrifice in some cases to what you can make, and then you'll go there. So I'm going to start answering some questions and let you get home. Okay, let's talk now. Let's see. Liz is saying, welcome to Evelyn's Inner Circle. Thank you, Miss Liz. How you going? You getting those hats made? Here we go. Okay, Miss Miriam said, what kind of volumes should we prepare to bring for the boot camp show? Okay, this is what I would say for those who would like to come to the boot camp show and you like to bring things to sell. I would say, depending on how you're going to travel, if you're traveling by car or by plane, if you can bring things in your car, I say bring what you got. Because if you can just go restock and show, fine. Okay? So if you're preparing and you want to come to the boot camp and you got things that you want to sell, you can actually sell, because part of the boot camp, I would want to show you how to actually exhibit. And some of you have probably never did a show, and show you really how to exhibit your booth and how to get your things displayed properly. And if you bring inventory, then you'll have the inventory to show how to display. And at the same time, you'll be able to sell your inventory. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't limit you to what you would bring if you're driving, because you can always go back and forth to your car to restock your booth. Okay. Liz Wilson says, what if you make pieces that are one of a kind? In other words, exclusive design items. Those items are not as produced. Okay, Miss Liz. I'm taking a commercial break on your question. Okay. Now, for those who, most artists like to make one of a kind because we get bored quickly with, I just made that. I just made that. I just made that. I made that. You can have a section that say one of a kind, right? But what I would encourage you to do is really easy to make duplicates also. So, say for instance, if you got, say, Liz like mudcloth, and she's out of Detroit, and she sews and she has a great clientele. I want you to think about this first. If somebody saw this hat right here, this is actually a head wrap that I done folded in half. And somebody said, "Ooh, I like that head wrap right there. I want that one right there." Okay. When they order this and they order the one that you got just like this, when they see it, 10, 15, 20, 30 more people may have seen it. And they want it, but they don't have the money right now. And when they get ready to buy it, they're going to say, she out of stock. And they're going to get upset. Like, why you showed me this? So what I would encourage you to do, Liz, when you buy anything, when you order anything, even from me, and you get one strip, say it's yellow mudcloth or purple mudcloth, and you design your hat and you got a long scarf, then I would say, look at what you can add to that and make 5 of those. Okay. If you make 5 of those and then you have another one that you can make 5 more to say, look, I don't have it in orange and white, but now I got it in black and white. And now I got it in red and white. The way you make money is to have duplicates. When people come to the mall or if you ever went shopping, when you see something, usually people shop in twos. Say 2 girlfriends come to the mall and they want to get a hat. And they happy at the time. They want to shop. They happy at the time. And they say, "Oh, I got this hat." Now they may buy 2 different colors, but they bought the same hat. So when you become a one of a kind artist or one of a kind designer, then that item has to be way up there because it's a piece of art. It's only one. So if you make one hat and it's $100, then you actually have made less money than if you'd have made 10 hats and they were $45 because you made $450 versus $100. So it's easy to make one of a kind because you're creative and you just take this and you take that and you take this. But think about a box of cookies. If you eat chocolate chip cookies, would you want a chocolate chip, then an oatmeal, then a peanut butter? Or do you want all of them to taste like chocolate chip? So I would strongly suggest those who are one of a kind, you have to raise your price. Raising your price costs money because you don't make as much money when they one of a kind, unless you're an exclusive art show. If you're an exclusive art show, people will pay premium for the original. That means that's it. The mold is broken, right? But to be able to succeed, we have to be able to do duplicates. So I would encourage you even if you have, say you make a hat and you got a a crack button, but that button looks unique. Excuse me. Then make the same hat and put another crack button. And even if you got to crack the button, and then say it's unique, they all have different crack buttons, but the hat is the same. Because when your item catch on, it's gonna catch, it's gonna go, it's gonna affect. I mean, you can't keep up. Remember when I just told you about the lady who wants 75 scarves? She wants 75 of the same scarf. She don't want 75 different scarves. She wants 75 of the same scarf. Do you have enough to do that? When I did the kids' graduation scarf, I want 3 dozen scarves, the same scarf. I want 2 dozen of the same scarf. I want 1 dozen of the same scarf. So when you do one of a kind, it makes you feel good. I've been there. Oh, I've been there. I love making one of a kind. Trust me, I love originals. But I had to soon find out. Oh, my girlfriend bought one from here last week. I want one like that. My pay period was this week. Oh, that was one of a kind. Oh man, I drove all the way over here and you don't have it. So your customers will get mad at you if you don't have what they saw somebody else have. And guess what else will get mad at you? Your bank account. Your bank account start hollering at you like, hey, we could have made that sale. You like sewing all day, right? So what I'm saying is one of a kind is good for your top shelf. But your survival, when you go to the store, everything you buy, anything you buy, when you buy your supplies, you want the same. I don't care if it's thread, if it's bobbins, if it's needles, if it's yarn, if it's sketching paper to do your art, if it's lampshades, if it's the fabric to do your quilts. Whenever you buy your items, you want to make sure you got duplicates because duplicates sells. And when that duplicate's out of stock, you feel crushed. You don't want the backup. You don't want the next to it. You want that same thing. So it's a great question, and it works. One of a kind works, but duplicates make more money. Think about the car you drive. Did they only make one, or they made 10,000 of them? Think about the shoes you're wearing. Did they only make one pair, or they made thousands of them? And if that one person got that one pair of shoes, you'd be like, Now everything I'm talking about is art because they did make an original. I don't want to sound sarcastic. I just want you to be able to think bigger to make more money. The whole purpose of this channel is to tune us in to make money. No question is a bad question. Every question is a growing question. Every question, every answer is something to penetrate you to say, okay, I mean, I'm selling things that I made one of, and I had the supplies to make still 10 or 20 of them that I had on my site for 5 or 6 years ago. And it's still selling. And I'm still able to produce it. So we gotta make sure we don't lose that opportunity to make more money. Because if you can make $10,000 off of one hat, you'll keep making that hat and keep growing the other ones. Let the other ones start getting some algorithms. AI is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence keep looking for people that's looking for you. So let's use AI for our advantage. If you say you only got one, AI will not show your items because it's not enough in it to get people engaged and to put it in their cart. So the more you have, AI will find your customers, having to drop them in your cart, and then they'll be able to purchase it. So AI can work for us and it can work against us. If you only have one of them, AI will not show them. You will have to physically show your items to all your customers. And those who are working on the machines, I'm telling you, there is so many people looking for you, they just can't find you. All those people got their money, they got their credit cards already on file, but they can't find you. All them beautiful drapes, them beautiful aprons, them beautiful dresses, them beautiful wrap skirts, those beautiful bucket hats. All those customers are looking for you. They're looking for handcrafted people. They're looking for people that put soul and rhythm in their culture, in their hats. Every culture is selling. It's not one culture that's selling. Every culture. If you're watching me from Spain, your culture is selling. If you're watching me from Italy, your culture is selling. South Africa, your culture is selling. Iran, Iraq, Israel, Germany, your culture always sell. Okay, indigenous people, your culture always sell. So don't think I gotta be of a certain culture. Do what you like, but have it set up. Get on the right sites, and you're not gonna get there. I can honestly say that you're not gonna get there by accident. You have to prepare to get lucky. You're not gonna get on the right sites by accident. You got to get with somebody who's gonna help you get there. And once you get there, you're busy. I can't keep up Miss Evelyn, what's going on? I can't keep up. What you do? You start going down. Another way you can stagnate your sales is if you say you can do 50, go down and say you only got not that you can do 50. Go down and say that you only have two in stock. And when you have two in stock and you sell out of those last two, then give yourself a week with it being out of stock. And then once you get your orders done, then go back and restock that item. For those who are having trouble because they just I mean, one boot camp member said, I woke up and my phone was just saying ching ching, ching ching, ching ching, ching ching. And I was like, oh, I'm already behind. What is going on? I'm afraid to look at what they buying. I said, that's good trouble. That's good trouble because it takes a while to get there, but when it gets there, it's like a ball rolling down the hill, right? And once that ball starts rolling down the hill, it don't stop until it hits the wall. The wall is when you shrink it down and say I only got two more in stock or one more in stock or sold out. Once it sell out, then give yourself like a week or two to catch up. Once you catch up, gradually say 10 more, 20 more, 30 more. Don't go all the way to the top at first. Go that you got maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 15. And the algorithm will start back cranking back up, telling people you're in stock again. And while you're in stock, then they'll start putting in their cart. When they pay, they get there, then they're gonna have their card on file and they're gonna say authorized to pay. And then when you say this time, you say it takes me 5 to 7 days because it's going to alert everybody at one time that you restocked and all of them can buy those 10 or those 5 at that same time. And that, like I say, you're not going to know that until you get the coaching. 407-590-8767. As of tomorrow, the coaching goes from 1,200 to 1,500. We do payment plans. Now, we're going to ask some questions and let y'all start back to sewing and painting and doing everything else. Let's see if I can scroll down here and answer some questions. I'm so happy you guys are telling everybody what's going on. I see Michelle. I see Michelle Stringer. Miriam. Liz. We're going to go all the way to the top. Okay. Latwina Gilder. How are you doing, Latwina? You was the first one to sign on. Miss Soul Pearl Creations says hello. Victoria, she says hello, everyone. Life by Living says hellos. Okay, we were talking earlier about it, and Soul Pearl's Creation says that's where a wedding planner comes in, right? You are absolutely right. And we were talking about the weddings that I just did, and it was going crazy. But you're right. A wedding planner would be ideal. You have to have the funds for a wedding planner, but that would be ideal. I hope my screen is not cutting up on you guys, but yes, a wedding planner is underestimated and definitely needed. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, Miss Skeet is from Florida. Wow, that's not too many from Florida. Hello. Patricia says hello. Jean Robinson says hello. Okay, before we get off tonight, anyone that's watching now, just give me a thumbs up if you are considering the boot camp. Just those who are on the live. We want to just make sure that we see anyone that's on the live that say they want to come to the boot camp or they're considering it, so we can see. Okay, Theory. Okay, I want to say this name right. The Royal Stateway. I like that. I love that. The Royal Stateway. Okay, Linda Brown says hello. Victoria says blessings to you on your anniversary. My husband just passed away 3 weeks ago, 4 days away from us being married for 32 years. Wow. and his birthday would have been 2 days after that. But God, yes. I hear people that lose their mate and they say just how hard it is. Like like they'll say something like that was my everything. I don't know how to. In fact, a lady was in here yesterday. She said, I lost my husband. It's been 17 years and I'm still lost without him. So that is amazing. Thank you, Victoria, for the happy wishes. Erica says hello. And Michelle Stringer, she says hello. May God bless everyone. We need that blessing. Okay, is there any questions? Look, Angela Hamilton from St. Louis. I love St. Louis. Have a blessed anniversary. Thank you. Okay, Marion said her favorite sewing machine is a vintage Singer Model 66. All right, we got some sewing machine talk out there. Okay, Michelle Stringer wants to know about mud cloth. You can text me at 407 590 8767, and I can send you different swatches of the fabric for you to buy, the mud cloth fabric. You can buy by the panel or you can buy the whole piece. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Miriam, for the dresses. Beautiful. Um, okay, she's saying Miss Ellen is fabulous. Her bags are beautiful. I want to learn how to do that. Miss Ellen says she's coming back. So what we have to do with Miss Ellen, I know if she's not watching now, she'll watch later. We have to see when her daughters are coming back. And she said she definitely will come back. She would be a great person to show how she do those fabulous bags because she does a great job. I'm talking about couture, big time. Um, let's go down to the end. Okay, I think we answered everybody's questions. And if you have any questions, you can always text me. That number is dedicated to this channel, and that's 407-590-8767. If you want to uh, be a part of the boot camp, please text me by midnight tonight. Let me know that you're interested. We can get you on a payment plan. If you are thinking about coming to the boot camp, I'm starting to think like Miss Ellen. Know what Miss Ellen told me? She said, just do it. Just do it. I said, Miss Ellen, I'm concerned about this. I'm concerned about that. She said, Evelyn, just do it. And I, you know what? I'm a just do it type person, but I know people are traveling from all over. So even if the numbers are not, profitable, we still may definitely do it. But we need at least 20 people. We need 20 people to make it happen. So um again, everybody, thank you for coming on this Sunday night. Let me know if you like Sunday nights, because normally on Thursday nights. Let me know if you like Sunday nights. Let me know if I was able to inspire you with anything I said tonight. Hopefully I did. Hopefully you are creating ways to get lucky. And those who are not really busy yet, guess what? It's coming. It's coming, because if you got the inventory, you're going to make the money. No matter, it can't, look, there's no way you can fail. There's actually no way you can fail. The goal now is, because we're in the second quarter and things are starting to come to realization of what our economy is going to be like. Maybe that's a nudge for us to get moving, to make things better for our lives. You know how they said everything happens for a reason? So let's look at what's going on in the economy and let's make sure we're prepared. Because I promise you, when you get off this phone, when you get off this live tonight and you think about the resources that you have and the resources that you can attract, because if you use your mind, you can attract anything you want. If you're looking for a $20 bill, you can say, man, I just need a $20 bill. I need $20. You can attract it. And I want you to say, now I just need 200. Now I just need 2,000. Now I just need 20,000. Now I just need 200,000. You can attract it. Say you want to buy a house. I just need 200,000. Where can I get it? What can I do to get it? And before you know it, you'll start opening up avenues to get that $200,000. But you got to start thinking first that you can do it. And when you think you can do it, it's already happening. I'm gonna go a little deeper before we close tonight. The Bible says the most powerful words are the words I am. I am. I am able to do it. I am going to do it. I am going to have it. When you start thinking I am, when you start getting your mind lined up with the things that you can do with the words I am, there's no way you can't make it. There's no way you can't make the same items. There's no way you can't make the same amount of money in your sewing that you do on your job. Do you know? Do you know that when you get lined up and you make some sacrifices for your gifts, when you make the sacrifices for your gift, you will make more money from your gift than on your job. And I'm gonna tell you why. When you when you look at this. When you first start out, you thinking that you can't do it. Okay? You're saying there's no way I can do it. You're saying there's just no way. I don't see it. But the reason you can't see it is because your brain is blocking you from seeing it, meaning that your mind is thinking negative, more negative than positive. It's that roadblock. But when you start saying that, okay, and I'm going to give you another example. If someone told you there's no way you can do 2 weddings in a week, and you'll say, I can't do it. But then you look at the money and you say, I cannot not do it because everybody else is slow. Everybody else is slow, but you're busy. You can't even talk to nobody, but you're busy. When you start saying that you can do it, when you can start using the words I am able. If you got your health, you got your hands, your arms, and you need food in your refrigerator, you will attract the cards, the lines of credit that you need because you're going to need money. And it takes money to get money. When you start doing that, you will attract what you need, but you got to get rid of you and get rid of I am. Because there's nothing you can't have. There's nothing that you cannot have. If you set your mind to it, you can do it. I mean, you can do it. And you'll look around and you'll say, You see a bill, and then they go to the solution. You see another bill, and there's another solution. You'll see money, and you'll say, what am I going to do with this money? And guess what? The bills will come in. Oh, that's why he gave me that money. That's why the Creator made that happen. So whatever religion, whatever your faith, whatever you're going through, domestic, child missing, child doing this, child, homeless, whatever abandonment, whatever you're going through, if you get your mental state focus, you can do it. When I went through divorce, I had $79 and no car. I had $79. Somebody had stole my truck. I had $79. And I went to Walmart and bought me a pair of jeans because I just could not stay with that man no more. I'm telling my business, y'all, to get you to understand that you can do it. Now that same divorced man was asking for a heart. He needed a heart. Okay? He got a heart. It wasn't my heart, but he got a heart. I wished him well, but what I'm saying is that he can see that was a bad part of my life that made me stronger. It made me wiser. It made me go into the trenches and look for fabrics and look for buttons and look for zippers and places I'd never been by myself. Going overseas as a stowaway, like I wasn't a stowaway, but I was sleeping on the train because I didn't have money for a hotel to get to the next town. And I would walk around and look around in Italy and France and Greece, and I would look. I was just like a pioneer on this journey to say, I'm going to do something outside of Walt Disney World. I'm going to build my own company. and now I have an audience, 30,000 people watching, you all engaged to see what you're asking because your questions are answering their questions. 30,000 people looking at that. So you are the crop. Like when you're in the farm, you're the stems. You're the ones that's growing, right? And I'm growing also because as I'm learning, I'm sharing it with you. But at the same time, get your mind to say, this is it. I'm not, how they say, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to not to worrying about my light bill. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to juggle. That doesn't mean that you don't have to make arrangements. You know how you're supposed to say, well, why do I have to keep making my arrangements for my phone bill or arrangements for my light bill? I'm going to tell you a secret. If you are struggling and you're making ends meet, you always know how you make ends meet. Start making arrangements, even if you have the money. Like if you need to, if your phone bill is due and you say, I don't have money for coaching, make arrangements. Because when you make arrangements, you got 2 more weeks, right? Your light bill is due. I don't have the money for this. Make arrangements. Light bill will give you 2 more weeks in some cases. Now take that money, run hard, get the stuff you need, make the money, put it in the bank. And when you make those arrangements, it might cost you $5. I've been there. I've been there when I've had to make arrangements with my mortgage and have a late fee, but the late fee was better than me borrowing the money. The late fee was $30, but if you get that payment made by the end of the month, then you got what, 28 days to make that money and put it in there, and you know you're gonna make it. You know you're gonna make it because when you make that arrangements, you're protecting your credit score, and your credit score will allow you to get those cards that you're gonna need to get that. Now, the best way to make money is not going to the bank. The best way to make money is to keep doing your business, applying for applications, letting them see that you're applying, letting them see that you're making your money, that you're depositing your money into the account that's supposed to have it. That's why those who I'm telling you, when you're getting your money, put it put it in that account and let it grow. That don't mean you gotta let it stay in there. Put it in that account, take the money, pay the bill, put it in that account. And when you do that, you will be on top. You will have cards coming at you with 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 7,000. You will have cards that you'll be scared to carry in your purse because you'll be afraid if somebody get my purse, they got my card. My card got a $7,000 limit on it, $10,000 limit on it, right? But you got to make some sacrifices to get there. Now, these cards is because they're your business, not your personal. When you got your cards and you can make personal business decisions instead of using your personal money, that's when you can breathe. Because your business's account, if you take the coach, it'll tell you it's totally different than your personal account. Your personal account, you want your credit cards to be low. Your business account they can be high because you got to run your business. Because your bills are high. Your light bills are high. All that's high. So when you have all that, you got to know business don't run on, when you're in business, you're going to have bills and you need to revolve it. So they give you more credit so you can be able to sustain your business and you can pay more taxes. That's the goal. Go into business, make more money, pay us taxes, leave us alone. And when you do that, you okay. So I want you to know tonight, like I always say, go to bed, see it in your head, pray about it, ask about it, and wake up and say thank you. And just keep on doing it. And the doors will start opening. And when the doors start opening, take action. And let's make sure you are the best you. Let's make sure that there's nobody listening to this channel cannot be like Madam C.J. Walker, cannot be like the lady Color Purple. All those women before us, all those men before us, all those men that have made money out of just, making belts and making zippers and making shoes. All those millionaires that was way back in the 20s. And it's 2026 and we can't be multimillionaires. Come on now, y'all. Y'all know we multimillionaires. Y'all know we can do it. We just got a stumbling block. It's okay. We're going to get there. And we're going to enjoy the journey while we're getting there. It's not going to be painful. It's going to be tired sometimes and stressful sometimes, but it's not going to be painful. It's going to be I'm up to the challenge. And that's what we got to do. I'm up to the challenge. Okay? So, with that being said, it's Sunday evening. Let me know if you like Sunday nights better than Thursday nights. We'll be back on Thursday night, this Thursday night. So, any questions, any concerns, um, any ideas, just post them, send it to me by the text or put it in the notes here. I do come back and read all my notes in case you put one on late. But this is your favorite international designer, Evelyn of Evelyn's Creations. I want to thank you for your time, for those who are keeping their membership dues coming. I appreciate those. It doesn't matter what level you are. I want you to know I appreciate you. I want you to know that what you're doing is great by listening, encouraging, inspiring. And listen to this again. Listen to this while you're working. Listen to this video again while you're working. Take notes and let's get lucky. Because we already did all the hard work, right? So we got to continue to get lucky. Let me know if you get lucky this week. All right, everybody. Take care. I love you. I love you. I love you. I mean, I really love you guys because you know what? Sunday we could be on the couch somewhere, right? But we on here. We challenging each other. We are asking great questions. We are we are getting motivated for the week. We're what are we doing? What are we making? I had a lady yesterday and she told me she came in the store and I was in the back and she was mad because I hadn't made any new hats. She said, I drove an hour over here to see the new hats. She hadn't made any new hats. I'm like, you know why I hadn't made any new hats? Because I've been busy filling the orders online. So it made me say, stop, make some new hats, and continue making the orders. Stop, make some hats, continue to make some orders. Okay? So those who are getting those orders, they're going to get better. They're going to get better. They're going to get better. Your website that you have made yourself versus the one I told you to go on and just get it done. Because these sites I'm telling you about, you can actually do it from your phone. Your phone is your mastermind. It will help you make all the money that you can possibly put in the bank. You can do that. Ask me how I know. All right, everybody. I love you. And thank you, Miriam. I love you back too so much. And Linda Brown says she loves Sundays. Nevertheless, I can't afford not to. You know what I'm saying? You know what that means? When somebody says they can't afford not to, that means that I'm sparking a nerve. That means that I'm human. That means that I hurt, but I know I got to do this. And when you know you got to do something, you got to be with the right people that say, okay, come on here, you can do this. And it's, believe it or not, if your machine is loud, it's loud money. But if your machine is quiet, it's quiet money. Because you can't, when you start sewing and doing alterations, I know there are people on here that do other things, but when you start sewing and do alterations, you're never going to be slow. You are never. I had a client yesterday. Can you make me 2 outfits by Wednesday? I said, yeah. He paid me $545. Can you imagine? Now I got to get them done. But what I'm saying is, you can do it too. You can do it too. You can make unlimited funds just because you want to work your hands. And that's with anything: art, clothing, designing, counseling. This, like she said, they need a wedding coordinator. Yeah, I should have said, don't come to me. That's what I should have said if I'd have thought like that. I should have said, let your wedding coordinator come and coordinate and tell me what you need. And that way it would go smoothly. And I'm going to do that next time. Thank you for telling me that. Because I'm always thinking about the wedding coordinator just planning the venue out there. I'm not thinking about the wedding coordinator talking to the designer. You know what I'm saying? So what we do is we learn. That's something else. See how she just taught me? Miss Evelyn, don't you think about, what about wedding coordinator? Yeah. That's make more sense. The more I talk about it, where is your wedding coordinator? And your wedding coordinator will get with me. Thank you for that. That's a feather in my cap from now on. Thank you. Um, so yes, I want you to know, I want you to make some money this week. Even if you don't have it made, let somebody know you can do it. Have them to prepay you. That'll motivate you. Look at that money. When they give you that money, or they sell you that money, or they cash up you that money, you're gonna say, oh my, I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work, y'all. So that's what I gotta do. I gotta go to, I'm gonna work 2 more hours. Maybe not 2 more hours, maybe 1 hour. I'm gonna work 1 hour and I'm gonna get some stuff done and get ready to ship it out for tomorrow morning. I want to get ahead. I'm gonna get ahead of my day so I could be lucky because I'm actually at work. Take care. I love you back. Let's get this train rolling. It is tomorrow is June the 1st. So we're gonna be officially in summer tomorrow. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.